Well, how's it going, guys? I wasn't planning on doing a Smackdown review, but, I figured we did a Royal Rumble review. We did a Raw review. Why not do a Smackdown one? Not going to do a Dynamite review. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now, I will say this. As boring and as drab as WWE is and uneventful, with the exception of the Rumble on Sunday, which I actually enjoyed to a certain degree. No, I mean, it was a good show, but, it can never be as cringy as Dynamite is. Let me just put it this way to you. I firmly, strongly dislike AEW quite a bit. Like, when I watch that show, besides the commentary, I cannot bear watching anything that the performers do on that show. It's just really extremely bad and hard to watch. Here it's like, I'm just not enjoying myself watching it, but I'm not really hating myself for it. It's a waste of time, no doubt, much like this show. But I don't really get the same feeling as when I watch Dynamite, where I just feel like, what am I watching? So anyway, let's get to this review. Let's see what happened. The Fiend wasn't here this week. Daniel Bryan wasn't here this week. I don't know why. Maybe they had prior commitments or something like that. It also felt like some other people were missing from this show, but I don't know. I guess not. The Fiend was noticeably absent. I don't know why. But anyway, Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns kicked this thing off. Reigns has got the Usos in tow. Corbin has got Robert Roode and Ziggler with him. And, you gotta say, when you listen to these two guys, Reigns from, say, 2015, I don't really hear it as much. I don't see as much Roman Reigns hate as I used to. And I don't know if that's because, and I'm gonna guess it's mostly due to Roman getting cancer. Now, of course, there were all the rumors that WWE made a huge conspiracy and all that, which is complete and utter nonsense. But, I think many people are coming to realize that we consistently get quality from Roman Reigns. And when you compare this guy to promos from other stars on the roster, you see just how well Roman stacks up with those guys. I'm not saying that he's an artist with his words or anything, but this guy is pretty decent on the mic. And, I think he really carries himself well. If you could say, you can't really say these promos are great, but the way he carries himself, he just never really ends up looking like a goofball anymore, like how they used to. I think now he kind of knows how to take the bad script and kind of make it sound a little bit better. I guarantee you if anyone else was reading from the same script, it would end up sounding 10 times worse. Anyway, we're going back to the dog food here. Corbin brings up the dog food. So what does Reigns do? He challenges the loser of the match to eat dog food. And of course, we're back once again to the dog related stuff. And I get it, it's revenge, but I feel like this is a little late. Wasn't that from 2 months ago? That was the last episode of Smackdown that I reviewed, and that was 2 months ago. Now we're going back to it. I think it would have been best to leave that all in the past. I know they replayed that, at the Rumble and everything, because that was part of the feud. And I get it, they can't just simply forgot that it happened altogether, but do we really need to bring that into the stipulation again? And we're going to talk about that later on in the main event. It's going to be the last thing I talk about in the video. But, are we really going back to the dog food again? We can't just come up with something else. Really, honestly, I don't believe that they're that strapped for ideas. Like, all the things that they could possibly think about. This is their job as the writers. All they get paid to do is sit around and write material. So why would they come up with the most basic thing that they've already done and do it again? This time it's going to be part of a match. And the other thing that kind of makes it weird is, like, shouldn't this have been the stipulation for, like, a bigger match, not for a 6-man tag? Like, this was at the Rumble. Like, I felt like that should have been the blow-off right there, and unless they're planning on doing more matches, but we'll talk about that later on. So we get our first match of the night. It's The Miz and Morrison defeating Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, and the Revival. The thing is, when you don't even bother to establish most of these teams, like, how is it that it's so fast that Morrison just returned, and even though he made the pin in this match and the team won, they're like an afterthought. No promo, no nothing to this match. It's just thrown together, and why, I don't know. Maybe it's a number one contender thing. It beats the hell out of me. I don't know, but I think when you got a star the caliber of Morrison back, because I like Morrison, I think you should probably treat him with a bit more fanfare, because you're not giving anyone any reason to care about this guy. Unless you watch the old videos on YouTube of the dirt sheet and everything, you're a new fan. Say you're a kid. Like, why should you care about Morrison? Why should anyone take interest in Morrison if you didn't watch Morrison back in 2011? Or back even before then in his Eminem days. Why should you care about Morrison? No, he's just another guy in a match here. And see, here's the thing. Now that everyone does the high-flying moves, you've got Lucha House Party in there doing high-flying moves. You've got tons of people. Like, if you watch Raw before this, doing high-flying things. Even the Fat Boys, Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, were doing high-flying moves. It really takes away from, like, what Morrison used to bring to the table. He used to really have a unique style. They really didn't let the guys do as many high-flying moves. So when Morrison came in there with, like, the Starship Pain and everything, it really stood out. When Morrison would do that springboard enziguri move, it really stood out. It really, like, jumped out at you, like, wow, no one else is doing this. If I watch a Morrison match, I'm only going to see that from John Morrison. But now that everyone does it, that doesn't make him seem as special. Now, of course, you factor in that Morrison looks more like a star than half these guys. Looks more like a star than Owens or Samoa Joe, in my opinion. At least this guy is in tremendous shape. Unlike, the other two that I just mentioned. So I just think that they should treat this guy with a bit more importance. But it seems like they're not really too concerned. They're kind of doing the AEW approach here. Oh, you know who Morrison is. He was in WWE, but he was in the Indies. But I thought, like, that stuff doesn't exist outside of WWE. I don't know anymore. I just think, like, especially if you're not going to have The Fiend on this show and you're not going to have Daniel Bryan, you got to have a bit more star power here. And they really could have used a bit of that Morrison magic. Anyway, backstage, we've got Otis and Tucker. And, you've got Otis asking Mandy Rose out on a date. And this is a segment I would usually cringe at because it just is, like, doofy. But Otis is just, this guy doesn't even need to say much, but his facial expressions, the way how he talks, he's really developed his own type of character. And I get it, like, it's supposed to be like the idiot, goofy character, but it's not as, like, it's not like Festus or something like that. It comes off more lovable. So I really enjoy the Otis character. This guy is a real star. I mean, I don't know, I like this character. I wish they'd explore it a little bit more. And I'm going to talk about how they kind of also failed Otis in the same breath tonight. But I thought he did a really good job here. And I like kind of Tucker being the wingman here. And how he adds in the little words of encouragement. So, like, these guys, they're far more entertaining outside the ring than they are in the ring. And this just really proves that, you know, when it comes to a show, like, you could have all the work rate you want. But you take a look at this, and this is far more entertaining than the match that we just saw. We've got Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defeating Fire and Desire. You know, so we've got the same people here. We've got Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, who we just saw backstage. Where is Otis running out? Why is Otis not coming out, being infatuated by Mandy? I get it. You know, they had him ask her out backstage. They don't want to, like, overdo it, I suppose. You know, that's what they always say, right? That's why people only get one segment on the show. So, technically, Mandy and Sonya get two because they get a match and a backstage segment. You know, so, and Otis got two. So, you know, it's like, God forbid they do three, right? You know, there's no way they could just have Otis, you know, and Tucker, or just Otis appear for a third time on the show. Would that be so unforgivable? You know, you're trying to tell a story here, but I don't get it. It's like once they tell the story, they can't go back to it. Unless it's video packages, then they will. But they can never have anything, you know, happen. Like, it seems like that's the limit. You're allowed to have one promo backstage and a match. You can't go beyond the two. You're never able to retaliate. You know, backstage, you don't see this anymore. There's nothing in the parking lot. There's nothing. Like, you can't even do a pre-tape to follow up. Like, I'm saying, nothing is threaded throughout the show. And this has been a common complaint among many people, many critics of this show. And you kind of have to agree, unless you really like this style and you really like this even Stevens approach, how everyone gets a segment and it's all split up very evenly. I mean, this is like serving a pizza or a pie. Everyone gets equal footing here. It's like, I'm sorry, but, you know, Otis is too entertaining to be restricted to just the one match, one promo rule. I mean, like, why are there rules like this? It's a show. You know, like, of course, like, the big stars, the people who are entertaining the most, the people that the crowd likes the most should get the most segments. So why does it have to be like, you know, a one and done or a two and done in this case? You know, if he's entertaining, this is a chance. You know, Mandy came out, lost her match. I believe she even got pinned in the match, right? So why not have Otis come out there and console her? You know, just something, you know, anything. It does, you know, I'm just saying, like, just a little something extra there to get to see him again. You know, a little pop from the crowd, would that be so bad? Then we've got Braun Strowman defeating Nakamura for the Intercontinental title. And, you know, it's like, I'm happy for Strowman. You know, I guess you could say he deserves it. Oh, God. You know, thank God we didn't hear those cheers. You know, we seem to have a much better crowd. We didn't have, you know, it seems like it depends, of course, like what city it's in. Tonight it was, I don't know where they were, but it wasn't in one of those annoying towns. So the crowd was a very casual crowd, thank God. But, you know, Strowman here, like I said, I'm happy for the guy. He deserves it. I mean, the only title that he's won is the one that he won with the referee's son back at WrestleMania. What was it, 3 years ago? I mean, this is pretty sad to say the least when you kind of think about like all the high profile matches they had with him. You know, so I guess maybe he'll finally get like a singles match at Mania, maybe get to defend the Intercontinental title. Like, could you believe that Strowman has been with this company for so many years, and this is going to be the first time that he actually gets like a regular match? I can't believe That's how far we've come. No, it was actually 2 years ago with the referee's son, right? Wasn't that WrestleMania 34, right? Because first it was him in the Battle Royal, then it was him in that tag match, then it was him versus the SNL guys last year, and now finally, I don't know what happened. Maybe he stopped coming late to work. Maybe that's why they awarded him with the title. I just think that anything less than the world title for this guy just looks silly on him. It just, I know it's just like, because based on how many things this guy has done, and he's able to flipping over tractor trailers supposedly, but he's not powerful enough to win a belt from just, a random wrestler. Like somehow he's too weak to do that, but he could flip over a truck. You would think if he could do that, he'd be unstoppable, but apparently not. So, and he's like having too many problems with Nakamura during this match. I'm watching the spot where like Nakamura's like picking him up and putting his leg around the rope like Shattered Dream style, like like what Goldust would do, and like he's lifting that big 350-pound leg of Strowman a little bit too easily for a small guy like this. And also like seeing he's got him grounded like in an Indian like deathlock style submission, or something, a face lock type of move. He's got him down on the ground, and I can't help but say to myself, like, why is Strowman having so many problems with this guy? I get it, like, Nakamura's the champion, and then also he doesn't even lose, he doesn't win it clean even. You've got Zayn taking off. Sami Zayn jumps up on the ring apron, takes off the turnbuckle padding. Strowman's face goes. Nakamura's face goes into it. Then Strowman hits the power slam. So there, not only is Strowman struggling with him, but there's like hijinks. Like the story they're telling here is that Strowman basically won the match because Nakamura's face went into the turnbuckle. So are you telling me if that didn't happen, then Nakamura had a chance of retaining? The story that was told here was just ridiculous. I mean, you had to have Strowman struggle to win it. This match should have been even faster than Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston. It should have been done. It should have been over in like 3 seconds. Who even cares about Nakamura as the Intercontinental Champion? The Smarks are done with him. They don't even care about this guy anymore. And that might be WWE's fault, but I don't know, guys. This is another overhyped wrestler from Japan, like slash the indies. He's from Japan, but you get what I mean, from that kind of crop, an NXT guy. So, there was a lot of unwarranted hype behind him, of course. Of course, it goes with the territory, right? But, there was no way that he was going to live up to those smart standards. And so, of course, he didn't live up to them. And so, of course, the short attention span crowd forgot about him, and so there was no need to like protect Nakamura like this. It was pointless. Most people didn't even remember he was champion. Then we had Sami Zayn cutting a promo backstage. Like I said, I liked his interaction with the interviewer backstage. I said I like Zayn in this manager role. He's very excitable. I like the attitude. He works so much better as a manager than watching this guy in the ring. But Elias is playing the guitar in the ring. He's interrupting. Cesaro comes charging out. Elias, just beats him up, and that's the end of that. This is like just so random. Like one thing to another. Like, here's the thing. They re-signed Elias for what, like 3-4 years, something like that. To, a decent sized contract, right? I'm sure the guy's making a lot of money. But this guy has consistently proven time and time again that not only does he look like a star, that he acts like... We go through this all the time when we talk about Elias. Does it need to really be repeated again? Of course it doesn't. I think almost anyone that has any knack for spotting talent can see that Elias has some sort of spark. You might not even particularly like the guy, just like I don't really particularly like Rusev, but I admit that the guy looks like he belongs at least. So we can be fair there. But come on. This guy has not grown one bit, not a single ounce since being there as a star. He consistently gets the most heat. He obviously cuts the best promos on the show. He's the only one who could garner a reaction from the dead silent crowd half the time. So why has this guy not been treated better? I don't know if he said something to someone backstage, if he's got some type of heat. I don't know if it's like the Strowman type of thing where he shows up to work late. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I feel like if they really have that many problems with somebody, why are they not finding them? Why are they not firing them? You're going to keep them around and just do nothing with them. Because as far as what I have seen, since when did Elias get there? It was like in 2017. He was in NXT, and of course, because he wasn't the indie smart prototype wrestler, not a young buck, not a Kenny Omega or a Johnny Gargano type of guy, then he was going to be instantly written off as just another guy. He's just, another guy with a nice build that McMahon is drooling over, right? That's what basically the smarts would say. Never mind the fact that the guy obviously had the most charisma, that he actually had a gimmick, that he actually had a look, that garnered attention, so he's a multifaceted star, obviously. That they don't like really treating like a star. It's so obvious that the guy is special, that there's something very, very significant about this guy, but for whatever reason, they really just refuse to do anything significant with him. It's hi, my name is Elias. He plays a few licks on the guitar, sings a few lines. And now he's not even really singing all the time anymore. Here he's just kind of just playing a little bit and interrupting people. So the joke was he used to get interrupted. Now he's interrupting people. It's kind of the same thing as Aleister Black on Raw. It goes nowhere. Oh, I'm waiting for people to knock on my door. Now I'm going to start knocking on their door. And so if one thing, is going on for too long or doesn't get over, so that's their strategy. They just kind of flip it. The guy's not working as a face, switch him to a heel. Never mind adjusting character or trying different booking or, God forbid, come up with creative writing. Let's just flip things and reverse them and see what happens. And that's pretty much what they've been doing. Now, so the thing is, the other thing that's reversed is the ratings. That's another thing. So, they might want to look at that eventually, but seems like you really haven't done that in almost 2 decades, so that's besides the point. I'll be fair. 1.5 decades. Is that better? Okay. Anyway, Sheamus defeats Shorty G. Again, and this time you actually put a lot of work into Sheamus, right? Vignettes up the wazoo. Sheamus is coming back. He's got his old spiky haired look. So now we can forget about the, you look stupid chance. He doesn't have the mohawk anymore. So now we can get back to, Sheamus is in the best shape of his life. I've said it time and time again. You could see him on his YouTube channel on Celtic Warrior Workouts. This guy was on the cover of Muscle and Fitness back in 2011. And somehow, someway, this guy's got an even bigger build than he did previously. He's far more shredded. He didn't even lose any bulk, didn't even lose any size, and he's more shredded. Incredible, and probably the most incredible looking guy on the roster. That alone should get him attention. Never mind the fact that he's got the accent, never mind the fact that he's got the ring ability, a total package without a doubt. And the guy's already got the pedigree, already a champion. He's one of Triple H's friends. But what happens when he gets to the main roster? Who's the first wrestler that he targets? Shorty G. Let's go to the Royal Rumble. Did he have a match? Well, not really. He wasn't in the Rumble match. And he wasn't even on the show, technically. He was on the pre-show with Shorty G. First of all, I can't believe this. Why would you have this guy after he's been gone for so long? You have a chance to reinvent this guy. He's no longer the tag team wrestler. We could build him back to being the world champion status guy. The guy that beat John Cena for the title. The guy that wrestled Triple H at WrestleMania. The high profile match Sheamus, right? This guy, look at him. Does he look? Now, Shorty G's in good shape. Chad Gable's in tremendous shape. I will not take that away from him. But let's be honest. From one short guy to another, you're not beating up Sheamus. You're not grounding this guy. You're not keeping him down long enough to moonsault him and get a near fall on him. I'm sorry. No. You're getting obliterated. It's one thing, I don't understand why we need to have squash matches anymore. Obviously, the same crowd watches this week in and week out on TV, so you already know who Sheamus is. So, what is the point of having him beat Shorty G here? We know who Sheamus is. Are we really going to sit here and believe that Shorty G could actually beat Sheamus? And why is Sheamus struggling so much? If they're showing this guy that he's in the best shape of his life, he's had time to work out even harder since having time off recovering from his injury, he should be blazing through his opponents and destroying them totally. That should be the story that they're telling here. But no, we still have to have well fought and, a 50-50 booking, and everyone has to look strong. Even when you're wrestling a 6'6", 275-pound monster? How is this guy not being entered into the Royal Rumble? I think Triple H has gone full smart mode because, the only people that Triple H seems to care about are the small guys. He loves his Johnny Gargano, I guess. He loves his Adam Cole. He does not care anymore about his bodybuilding friends and the guys that actually look like wrestlers. What happened to the characters? What happened to the promos? What happened to the gym bodies? What happened to that Triple H? I don't know what it is. I think maybe Triple H might be, switching the milk out on his protein shakes, maybe not even using water and probably, maybe substituting. It's probably not even whey protein anymore. He's either using soy milk in there or he's using soy protein, because I don't know. I'm not, Triple H doesn't seem to be the same testosterone, red-blooded American male type anymore. It's like now he has the same taste in wrestlers that the internet smarks have. And I find that very alarming. This is like he's the pro dirt sheet guy. It's like, I don't know, he should be palling around with Meltzer Magoo. Anyway, let's move on. We've got Bayley and Naomi in this segment. So Bayley's cutting some pointless promo. She challenges Lacey Evans to come out, but instead, I think Lacey Evans is shooting a commercial or something with her daughter. You've got so another wrestler that's not there. I don't really care about that one, but anyway, Naomi comes out. I like the entrance. She had a glowing mask and everything. Like the entrance, adding a little something else to her coming out there. I'm a Naomi fan. I think the first time she won the title when they did the second brand extension, they should have never taken it off her. Remember, she was crying when she lost the title. Disgraceful. And here we've got Bayley just, with the fake heel, anger, and it's just ridiculous. But Naomi ends up getting the upper hand. anyone excited for this match? I didn't think so. Then we wrap things up with the Bloodline, which is Roman Reigns and the Usos defeating Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler. Okay, everyone here I like pretty much. I like all of these guys, but it's just you didn't really give us a reason to care. It's just match after match with Reigns and Corbin. It's about dog food. It's about guys in costumes dressing up like dogs, and then at the end they handcuff Corbin. They are pouring vats of dog food, way more dog food than was poured on Roman Reigns. So, he got more dog food on Corbin than Corbin got on him a few months back. Wow. Fantastic. It's like, first of all, this is like really disgusting to watch. There's nothing entertaining about it. I mean, the heel is getting his, right? The arrogant heel is getting humiliated by having loads of dog food dumped on him. But, this is just, really, this is like 1995 WWE for me. This is just the really childish, just seriously, are adults here? I'm saying, someone like myself, really, in your 30s, even in your 20s, even older teenagers, even just any teenager watching this, we're gonna sit here and really, pretend like we're enjoying this, like this is good entertaining television. You've never seen anything funnier or more entertaining than having a guy get dog food dumped on his head. This is just something you would see in a cliche, comedy movie where someone would get food dumped on them, or there was a food fight and someone got a pie tossed in their face. You know what I mean? It's like pie in the face humor. It's the most generic humor you could possibly get here. And I don't know if it's gross out humor. It's, slapstick. I don't know what you want to consider it, but it's in 2020, you would think that you'd be getting more advanced stuff than this. Oh man, come on. I mean, I said even this. I still rather watch this than anything that Dynamite has to offer, and I know it's going to upset certain people here who watch AEW Dynamite, but I don't care. This show was pretty terrible. There was really not much that I liked. Really, the only thing that was good on this show was Otis. That's it. I enjoyed Otis backstage. Wow, great, right? Oh man, what a waste of time. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the review. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. And guys, I'll see you next time.